I was asked to talk about happy and meaningful life. This is a very vast subject. I don't know how we'll able to make justice with it in hours' time. However, since I accepted to talk about this topic, I shall have to try at my level best. Happy life and meaningful life, this is two different things. A meaningful life might be a happy life, but it is not necessarily, a happy life may not be a meaningful life. Meaningless life may also sometimes be in the category of a happy life. First of all, it is very difficult to define what is happiness. There are many different opinions at the philosophical level as well as at the ordinary people's level. The definition of happy or happiness differs from person to person, group to group, community to community. And particularly, happiness is not a material thing. It is a mental attitude, mindset. I remember a few years back when I was in active service, some young lady researcher come to me to ask how to measure the happiness. What are the yardsticks to measure the happiness? So I was not able to make an immediate answer, but I just to say there should be some other way to measure the happiness. The question was because the Bhutanese government has coined a word, the national gross happiness. So since the national gross happiness is become a terminology, then there need to be a yardstick to measure it. Then I occasionally said that you can count the number of wants and the number of fulfillments. At a gross level, the number of fulfillments of people's want can be used as a yardstick for the measurement of happiness. And at the subtle level, the count of wants, the lesser count of wants indicates the larger happiness. And the larger number of wants, whether it was fulfilled or unfulfilled, the want itself is an indication of the unhappiness. So after some time, she came back. She said, yes, I used this yardstick and it was perfectly okay. Now I am able to research and quantify it, statistically quantify it, the gross happiness. So today also we go like that. What is happiness? And in my view, happiness can only be measured the quantum of desire, wants, and attachment. As much attachment, as much desire, as much wants are at larger side increasing, then their happiness is doubtful. Happiness is satisfaction in our own language, santosh. Whatever is available to one that makes the person satisfied, not wanting any more, that is the real happiness. Now, coming back to, we are not only to define the happiness, we shall have to talk about how to achieve the happiness, happy life. In my view, to have a happy life, to lead a happy life, there is three components which is essential. The first is sound body, the second is sound mind, and the third is right livelihood. A person who are looking for a happy life should have a good health, sound body. If your body is not perfect and troubled by many inconveniences or diseases, then you cannot have a happy life. So the first requisite thing is to have a sound body. And for that, you must have the basic knowledge how to keep a sound body right from the childhood. It is a great responsibility of the parents and relatives to educate the children at the growing age how to lay the foundation of sound body, a good health. Today, the problem, I think we need to know this also, the gap between modernity and tradition is widening all the time, and now at this moment we all consider to be living in the post-modern civilization. We have passed through the modernity and the ultra-modernity, and at this moment we are in the stage of post-modern. I don't want to call it a civilization, but I can call it a post-modern living system. How to live in a system that's post-modern. The Westerns call it as a civilization. In my view, it is an uncivilization, whatever it may be. So in this era, the human beings are not user to any commodity. And traditionally, we are user to our needs. Today, we are converted into consumer. We are consuming the things, we are not using the things. We have right to use the things, we do not have basic right to consume the things. So we are consumer. In the consumeristic society, in in the society which is based on post-industrialization and market-oriented economy, a market-oriented everything. In this situation, a sound health is become difficult because now health is not to be protected right from the beginning and prevent to health hazards and diseases. Because the healthcare has become also an industry. People shamelessly call it a health industry. The hospitals are considered to be a good industry where it earns money by the owners. And there, the disease is the capital. To prevent disease is not the priority. To cure the disease through various medicines or treatments, that become. Otherwise, the society become free from disease. The medical professionals might be losing their livelihood. So this is one of the obstacles we are facing to have a sound body. Therefore, it is the responsibility of the oneself as well as the parents and elders to look after the children's basic health, for which we need proper food, proper behavior, proper routine of life, which consists of work, rest, sleeping, and thinking. All these components to be balanced and well organized. Particularly, the food is one of the basic component to make a sound body, particularly at the young age. Overeating, untimely eating, next eating before the first eating is digested, and contaminated food, unsuitable food, unclean food, all these are the hazard to health. And food is one of the primary. Then how much exercise and physical work is to be carried out, how much rest is needed, how much sleeping is needed, which doesn't have any universal yardstick. Each individual shall have to understand one's own needs and to schedule one's lifestyle on that basis. And there should be regularity, and particularly negative mindset such as anger, jealousy, envy, etc. need to be prevented. Not only for the peace of mind, but for the sound body to have a good physical health. And particularly the timings and the quantities and the qualities of food. In the tradition, the Ayurveda, the Unani, the homeopath, the natural path, these are the real which can put foundation for the sound health, should be studied and should be looked after and should be taken care of. And the second thing is to have sensitiveness to one's own body. That is why the Buddha taught his disciples to have 4 different kind of mindfulness. Chaturs Anusmriti Prasthana. The first is mindfulness about body, Kaya Anusmriti Prasthana. Kaya Anusmriti Prasthana is to give attention to whole body, whenever there is some kind of different feeling, they should be noticed, and one should be able to register into the consciousness whatever feelings had happened in any part of the body, and thereby you will be able to watch your own body, whether there's some kind of challenge diseases or any unusual thing that can be noticed easily. We are quite insensitive to our body, particularly for the subtle feelings. That's why these days many people able to diagnose dangerous diseases such as cancer at very late stage. If this disease can be detected at the early stage, that can be treated and cured quite easily. When it detected late, then it becomes difficult to treat. That is due to our insensitiveness to our body. So then the regularity of our schedules, when we should sleep, and irregular schedule of lifestyle has also terrorism to the health. So these are just indications. There are many other things, particularly the Chikitsa Vidya, traditional Chikitsa Vidya tells how we should behave in different seasons of the year, how we should behave in particular times of particular action, how we should behave all the time. We should remember about the health care. So all these are necessary for any age group. Health is human body is very strong. It has its own potential to recover many diseases. So if we are able to do some positive things such as mindfulness meditation and breathing exercise. Breathing exercise, few of the breathing exercises are very good for keeping a good and sound health. Breathing exercise, pranayama, is also a vast subject. And in the recent scholars, such as Swami Ramdev, has taken out few very useful things and taught them to the people in an easy language. So this should be put into our daily routine and therefore keep a sound body. It is our basic birth responsibility to respect our body and to protect our body. If you have a good body and need not to frequently visit any health center or hospital, that will give you a foundation for happy life. And the second requirement is about the mind. When I say sound mind, it does not mean that distorted mind or unusual kind of madness. The sound mind refers to a rational and independent mind. Not easily accept anything which someone tells or some information carries or some book, someone written a book, and without any examination, without any contemplation, to accept everything as the rumor goes by, and you just... So to keep the mind rational and logical, independent, not easily accepting anything without knowing it. The problem in modern society, the educations become kind of information input, nothing else. Not only information input, at many times it becomes indoctrination, brainwashing. And the children also become easy habit that whatever teacher taught, he just accept them. He or she just accept them. Whatever is written in a book, taken for granted. That's why I used to say to my scientific persons, science down, I used to say, yes, the religion and the spiritual traditions have also separated a number of blind faiths, and at the same time, modern science has also created a lot of blind faiths among the people. Blind faith means just accepting. Someone has said, and you accept, and you just accepting and knowing is an entirely different thing. Knowing means you examined and you found it, and you realize it. And accepting means someone told you this is white, and you have not examined whether it is white or blue. You just accept, yes, it is white. He have told me. The book have written. So by this way, we have lost the discriminative wisdom, which is basic blessings of humanity. The animals and the humanity has only the differentiation is the rationality and the logical mind. Otherwise, eating, fighting, family arising, all these things are animals also can do. And the human beings also do the same thing. The human beings' distinction from the animal world is the discriminative wisdom, the rational mind. That shall have to be always there, and whatever you learn, you should know it. You should not accept it. Whatever is accepting without knowing, that is in the category of the blind faith. It may be scientific knowledge or it may be adhyatmic knowledge. There's no difference. Whatever it may be without knowing. That is why the Buddha has said forcefully, particularly, O bhikkhus, and learned person don't accept anything because the Buddha had said it. Even the Buddha, he himself told, don't accept without knowing it. Then he gave the metaphor as goldsmith examines the gold by cutting it, by rubbing it, by burning it, then he finds whether it's pure or not. Similarly, through different ways of logic and rationality, you examine my words, and when you find for yourself it is correct or not correct, that is the way of learning. So without having such discriminative and analytical way of knowing, you are accepting 100% may not be, mostly 80%, 90% it may be wrong. It becomes a blind faith. Actually, it is also the defects of the modern education system. Modern education system, I have mentioned before, just inputting the information, like the human mind has become like a computer, and whatever is inputted there, and in the time of examination, loading down is from there. So this kind of things doesn't mean you have a knowledge. Actually, the education system must be awakening the inner intelligence. My late friend Jiddu Krishnamurti repeatedly always used to say, the purpose of education must be awakening the inner intelligence. It can arise and awake the inner intelligence so that the humanity can flower in goodness. Goodness cannot be imposed from outside. Goodness shall have to be flowering from within. Similarly, the happiness cannot be imposed. Happiness shall have to be flower automatically from the within. For that, the sound mind is indispensable instrument to have a happy life. I think the time is running fast, so we shall have to be brief. So the third is right livelihood. Right livelihood is a difficult thing today. In the tradition, the professions are by hereditary. What a parent does a livelihood, does a job that will carry by the children. Any art, any expertise, and any performances, whatever it may be, it is inherited. And that's why in the ancient time, employment or unemployment is never known to the society, because the society work for the society by their own hereditary professions and knowledges. And therefore everyone is the owner. No one is doing service. Today, the education is not giving for become an ownership. It is for getting the service, paid service. And it's very funny. The accreditation of universities are also being done on the criteria of how many employments are being getting within the campus. and how much employments are getting illuminates. So to become a servant, paid servant is considered to be openly, considered to be shamelessly, considered to be the object of education. To make people servant, not honor, as some kind of achievement. So, therefore, right livelihood is very difficult to get in. How to identify livelihood is the right thing. So I used to say three things. First, non-violence. Non-violence means non-violence and ethical. Whatever you do, there is not involvement of unethical activities. And the second is eco-friendly. Whatever you have a livelihood or job or project, that should not be a hazard to the ecosystem, environment. This is second thing, because this is a big challenge to entire, not only humanity, to entire living beings on this global earth. That is a great challenge today. So we have to think about whatever we have a livelihood that should be eco-friendly. And the third is sustainable. Once you start established, and this should be sustained at least throughout your life or your children's life, that kind of. So this kind of right livelihood is not easy to find out. Mahatma Gandhi used to say, the farmer, the agriculture work on the land is one of the best livelihood. And he might be right, but in today's postmodern living system, it may not be applicable to everyone. But whatever, of course, coming 100 or 200 years, I don't think the economic system would substantially change, and the system of serving to others may not be radically changed. Therefore, we shall have to find out right livelihood, even working for others. Therefore, to judge the others' work, how much it is ethical, how much it is eco-friendly, how much is sustainable, all this we need to find out. And in the time of the scarce livelihood, choice may be very limited. But at the same time, self-supported, that is one way people should, if one needs a clean and happy life, self-supportive job, self-supportive livelihood, not depending on any other ownership or bosses. That may be difficult to find, but one really wish to have a happy life, then there should be, right from the beginning, there should be some kind of initiative how to become self-supportive. People might say, in the present situation, it is impossible, but human effort continues. There should be possible, particularly in the village life, agriculture, horticulture, animal husbandry, this kind of self-supportive ventures, I don't think it is absolutely impossible. Particularly Himalayan region like our region, the Memphis and surrounding, they are largely yet farmers, and as a follower of Gandhi, the agriculture work should not be should not be considered as post-dated, and it has a great potential in future as well, particularly who are looking for a self-sufficient, self-supportive and right livelihood or happy life that can look up around for them. So these are the three components which I very briefly just point of concentration mentioned. Then thereafter, the other thing, meaningful, how to make the life meaningful. Life meaningful has to be considered from little different angle. If you are leading happy life, it may not be necessarily a very meaningful if the happiness comes to an end, when your life comes to an end. There are two different groups of people. Many people, followers of religion, such as Buddhism and many other religions, which believes the continuity of life after death. For them, then the long-term objective should be natural life's benefits. And there may be some people who may not believe any life after death. The life comes to an end, the consciousness comes to an end when a person dies. In India also, the Charvak, they do not believe in any continuity of life. Even then, their life would be considered meaningful. The happiness can be heredited to their next generation or their society around. For that purpose, to make the life meaningful, you need, after the three components, the fourth component is spirituality, Adhyatmik Vidya. Adhyatmik Vidya is a pervasive word for every religious tradition. It means that looking into words. For example, someone asks, "Who are you?" We immediately react, "I am Losan, I am Sunam, I am so-and-so." React by the names. Actually, names are the person, not the person. When the child born, there was no name. The names are later someone have put to them. And actually, we never look into ourselves. What the consciousness comes from, how the consciousness living through the life, how the consciousness goes after the death, and what the consciousness has any responsibility or accountability. So these are the basic questions of inner sight. Or in other words, we should say mind and matter. We are looking after the matter so briefly, detailed, so subtly, but we never examine the mind. To look to the mind These days in the modern education system, Western psychology is considered to be dealing with the mind. Actually, the psychology does not deal with the depth of mind, because the mind and matter, these two components, involves the entire universe, entire existence. So these are equally a component to make something whole. Matter cannot exist without mind. Mind cannot exist without the matter. And the relationship between, interdependent relationship between mind and matter is a great question. From birth to death, this life's activities and affairs can be taken, you just care to the matter and neglecting to the mind. There may not be something drastic happening. The sky may not fall down. But when it comes to the real happiness of the inner consciousness, and it makes it sustainable for that happiness, then you shall have to take care of the mind, the subtle mindset. That is a very deep subject. And only you are able to take care of the mind to reduce negative emotions, to promote the positive emotions, and become compassionate to all living beings. Then your life may be considered as meaningful, because then you become oneness to entire living system. That is the value. That is the meaning. And in that way, you may consider as leading a meaningful life. Now the time is up, so I will stop here, and the rest time shall use question-answer session. But I am little afraid that I may not be able to answer all of your questions. Anyhow, I welcome your questions. Thank you very much for your attention.